Concrete pastures.
That's green, that's right.
Hello, family. Welcome back to Concrete Pastures. I am Nancy Mulemwa-Sisi. I am so excited. This is finally happening. Oh my God. Before I even introduce our guest, I mean, it's been a long time coming. I'm so grateful to our president of SAZA for this connect, for the introduction. It's almost a year we've been speaking and so I'm always excited when things finally come together. There's always the timing or it gives you perspective of how life in the diaspora really happens. Like people are so busy, and when you tell people or when you explain to people, people don't really understand it until you live it. So we are here. And for anybody who's new, this is a space where we highlight immigrant stories who have relocated to different countries in search of greener pastures. We share our stories of our various experiences and lessons we've learned along the way and offer new perspective on the journey of an immigrant. So whether you are currently an immigrant, soon or later to be, or just curious, come along with us on this journey and get a better understanding of what it really means to be an immigrant. A lot of you have been with us since the beginning and you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel. Support us by subscribing. This way we can get amazing guests like our guest today. A little bit about our guest. I mean, she's African. She's my fellow countrymate. She has an extensive resume. Just a little bit about her. Her name is Miss Regina Mukondola. She is highly accomplished and influential. She has made a significant contribution in various fields. Her dedication and passion for supporting vulnerable communities and fighting poverty have led her to initiate, develop, and chair numerous organizations in Zambia and other African countries. With her extensive experience and expertise, Ms. Regina was invited to join the diplomatic team at the Embassy of Zambia in Brussels in 1996. Hey guys, we're going to be hearing all about this. Throughout her career, she has demonstrated exceptional leadership qualities and a strong commitment to making a positive impact. This is why she's here. She's done so many things in our community. Ms. Regina focus lies in supporting women, children, orphans, rural areas, education, and aspiring entrepreneurs. She works closely with the Dutch organizations, visits African projects, and collaborates with different shareholders to build bridges for fundraising, expertise, networking, marketing, and innovation. The list goes on, guys. Welcome, Miss Regina. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you so much for having me, Nancy. Thank
Oh
you.
my God. Listen, this is just a little bit of even your bio accomplishments. You have so much more, and we're going to get into it. But for starters, you are my countrymate. I'm always excited and beaming. And joining us from Belgium, Brussels, you were the first from, from
Oh,
Belgium.
I'm honored.
No, it's such an honor that you've made time. I know today is a holiday for you guys. For me, it's just my day off. So welcome to Concrete Pastures.
Thank you
And
very much.
for starters, I just want to go back home before you left. How was life growing up in Zambia?
Growing up in Zambia is the best thing. I wish the whole world could just be Zambian and everybody would be happy. Growing up in Zambia, especially on the Copper Belt, for some of us, it was such a beautiful, beautiful environment in which to grow up because we were children of miners. I don't know whether you remember the Zambia Consolidated Copper Mines.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the people on the Copper Belt actually parents worked in the mines. So it was
Mm.
a very tightly knit community whereby we went to trust schools. So, we had recreation programs within the curriculum for school, and outside of school, we would enroll into things like squash, tennis, badminton, hockey, so and it's funny because when I tell people about my story and growing up, they say, where in Africa you play squash? From where? From a tree? No, 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 not from a tree.
Oh my God.
from a court, we have those. So growing up in Zambia, I think it's different from everyone, and I'm sure it's different for you, Nancy. But speaking
Yeah.
for myself, I had a very, very fulfilling childhood and experienced things that other people have not experienced in terms of being pushed to go to extracurricular activities. And of course, now you know that most of those things are out of the curriculum because the things do happen. So yeah, my childhood in Mufulira on the Copper Belt was really, really nice. Very good.
Wow. No, it's I keep running into my Copper Belt people,
Mhm.
and I'm like, I feel like I missed out on that experience. I'm like, what were my parents, my dad? I mean, like, we could have been in the Copper Belt and
Mhm.
living our best life. I have a friend actually. She also used she's her parents still live in the Copper Belt, but she resides in South Africa.
Mhm.
And she was telling me about her experience and living. It's like a whole different Zambia for me, at least, because I grew up in in Western Province in Mongo. So I'm just like,
Mhm.
huh? You guys were living your best life.
Yep.
Because the private schools, all of these things that you are mentioning, she also experienced that. So I'm like, wow, you guys were really being taken care of, which is great. I have a whole different Zambia
I
experience.
know, I know. It's quite fun, and when you talk to people, I mean, who come from different provinces, it's completely different.
Yeah,
As I said, most of us on the Copper Belt, our parents worked in the mines, and depending on the seniority in their positions at work, some of us were lucky that they had a position where you can access what I have just mentioned. Like
yeah,
we literally never bought anything except food for the house because
yes.
once
Yeah.
the chairs in the house are broken, you just go and register. They come and take them back.
Yay.
Your bulb, electricity bulb finishes. You just take the old one. You get a new one. You enroll for sports. They will provide you with your tennis rackets, the balls, the shoes, the socks, and the kit. So all those years we really, really enjoyed. And when we talk about it now, people think, really, which Zambia are you referring to? But it did happen. It did happen.
No, honestly speaking, if I hadn't run into a lot of my friends that are from Copper
Mm-hmm,
Belt now, I would be like, I don't know what Zambia you talk about because
mm-hmm.
I was living very poor in Mongo, and you guys in the Copper Belt, everything was done for you. You have a
Yeah.
house, everything is done except you have to only buy food. But that's beautiful. It's really beautiful, and this is why it's important to share our stories, and you could actually see the difference in our stories, and a lot of people that grew up in your community, they can relate to that
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
life and resonate with you, and really I love it. I love it. I love it. But going through that experience, how has that contributed to you to today, going through that experience?
When you are young and you're in primary and both your parents are alive, you've got cousins here and there, you just take things for granted. You just think, oh, they're there. You're not working. It's not like here in the Western world where you go to school and you have a student job. And for us, we all depended on our parents or our uncles to support us through education. So when you're young, actually, you take that for granted. But when you grow older, you start having your own family, you start staying on your own. That's when it sinks in. But again, when you are in your country, you don't know what immigration is.
Mm-hmm.
Really? No,
Yep.
you don't. You just take things for granted. You just know, okay, I know if you say Sisi, I know which part of Zambia you are from. If you
Yeah.
say Mutale, you know which part of Zambia. And we live together in harmony without really questioning anything. Because if you say today, for instance, I'm sleeping hungry here, trust me, the neighbor next door is sleeping hungry too. And you know, I ran out of dishwashing tubs the other day, and I was like,
Yeah.
can we go to our neighbor and ask just for a cube of you don't even know where to start from. But in Zambia, you know, we all share. We share tea leaves. You can even share bathing soap. You say, my neighbor doesn't have soap to wash her body. You go
Yep.
and borrow it, you use it, and come back and take it back. So all those things that we have taken for granted, I think when you come here and see how people live, then it changes the whole perspective about your own life. So
Mm-hmm.
some people say they suffered in Africa, and there are some that have just had a good life without going through things of missing a meal in a day.
Yeah.
So you have to move away from home to really appreciate home. Whether you're hungry or you have a lot of food, I think it doesn't matter when you move away from home.
Lovely. No, well said. What motivated you to leaving the beautiful Zambia?
You know, things do happen. So I got married and I started having kids, and then my husband was posted here as a diplomat. So we came as diplomats to Belgium, and
Nice.
and yeah, we've been here since then. But I decided to stay here and I got a job at the Embassy of Sierra Leone. So it wasn't really like, okay, I need to get out of Zambia. No, it
Mm,
was work to work, except that we were working abroad.
got it. So, I had a friend that her parents were they came here as diplomats as well, and it's a little bit off when the term is finished. I don't know
Mhm.
how long the term is in Belgium, but when the term is finished of service, what happens after that? Just educate
You
us a little bit.
Yeah, so the term now I think it has changed, but when we came in 1996, it was 6 years.
Mm,
Yes, so it's a 6 year tour. You stay here and then you go back to Zambia, stay there maybe for another year, and if you're lucky, they send you to another country. So it's so just same like a civil servant. You're still working for the civil service, the government of Zambia, but you are just sent as a representative of the country to see how we can boost our economy and engage other countries in like here it's the EU, the European Union, where
mm,
you see what how they can help us now with certain things in with the economy, infrastructure, medicine and things like that back in Zambia. So we kind of collaborate together with the European Union. Here in Brussels, there is also a group. When we came, it was called the African, Caribbean, and Pacific Secretariat,
mm-hmm.
where most African countries belong, and the Caribbean, and of course the Pacific. So you work together with them, with the African Union, to see how best we can help each other build our continents. So when you come here, you're still a civil servant.
Got it.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
what happens to the family? So let's say the way you guys went, were you both
Mhm.
working, or do you have to fend for yourself to find a job, or does the government give you something to do?
Yeah, so when you come here as a diplomat, a spouse is not supposed to work because there is an incentive that there's a spouse allowance that the government gives, and there's a children allowance that they give you. So the embassy, the government pays for the children's schools, English speaking schools, of course, and they pay the spouse allowance. At the end of the term, then you receive a letter to go back, and it's up to you if you want. If you have made good connections, you can stay and find a job, but you cannot. The spouse cannot work when
Okay.
the other one is employed full time by the government of Zambia.
Okay. No, it's great that they do take care of the whole entire
Mm-hmm.
family.
Mm-hmm.
It's good because you can't imagine uprooting your life following, your spouse, and then
Yeah.
you're not doing much in the other country.
Yeah, sometimes they do, now it's quite strict. Well, even the time we came, it was very, very strict. We have husbands who are not working, wives who had good positions and came here for 6 years and didn't work, and so on and so forth. So it's a test to see how much people love each other.
Yes, because you're both integrating, it's a different
Yes,
country.
yes.
And you bring up a really good point because in relationships, you are used to one thing in your own country, and then you coming to a whole new country. You're all adjusting to the new country, and then whoever is working, is adjusting to the job and the people at work. Oh, wow, wow. That's a topic for another day, probably.
Yeah, it's mixed feelings.
Okay.
Yeah, it's mixed feelings. It's
Yeah.
mixed feelings because here you are, for instance, you work for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, where you're about 1,000 people, you don't even know each other, so well. And then you come abroad and you're just about 15 people every single day in each other's faces. So I think you can imagine what happens in a situation.
Yeah, no, 'cause different cultures, different ways of
Yeah.
doing things, and
Yeah,
um,
but you are all Zambians. You are
yeah,
all Zambians. Then you can choose to mingle with the outside, and which is the best because then it opens up your horizons and your mind and open to new things and to new cultures and traditions. But if you stick to your own people and just say, "Oh, I'll be dealing with Zambians alone," and Zambian in, Zambian out, so you haven't learned anything.
yeah, true. It's true.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
A lot of us, we're still, and I think to unlearn that you have to leave your country a little bit behind, not forget about your cultures, your values, but just leave it behind to open yourself up in order to learn some of the cultures and just where you are, really.
Yeah, yeah.
Because
And
people
it's
still,
it's quite interesting because when you move from Zambia and you come to a place like this,
hmm
where the language is completely different, there's so many barriers. You're completely, completely lost. And the time we came, it's not like how it is now. Not so many people who spoke English. So you
mm,
can imagine the struggle. You could only have your friends from the children's school or from church and fellow Zambians. But you know how it is, Nancy, Zambians living together. So
I know, I know. I know. We'll get into what you do. You do a lot. You are involved in so many organizations. You started from Zambia all the way to where you are. But what really motivates you to focus on supporting women, children, orphans, and areas in education as well, rural areas, and just the aspiring entrepreneurs?
I don't know whether I can say this, but during our diplomatic stance, the reason I am in Belgium now is because I got a divorce. I was in a very abusive marriage, and that's why I didn't go back to Zambia. So I stayed here with my kids.
Mhm.
And so many, Nancy, I can't even tell you the number. of how many people rallied behind me to support me with the kids. People, complete strangers, complete strangers, non-Zambian. A lot of them came through, helped me. And you can imagine I have 4 kids. I don't know whether I mentioned that. I have 4 kids, and
Okay.
yeah, all of them are still in secondary school. Well, 2 were in secondary school and 2 were younger at the time. And you are all by yourself with these 4 kids, and you don't have a job.
Ah.
Yeah, and you don't have a job, and you are in a foreign land. So just imagine. So I went from um, people from church. I started from babysitting jobs. I would hop from one house to the other. I would do cleaning jobs. You won't believe it. I hopped from one house to the other. And when I was at one of my boss babysitting, I got a call from a friend of mine, and she said, "Oh, Regina, they're looking for someone at the embassy of Sierra Leone." And I'm like, "Ah, I've had so many interviews and they never hire me." So, she said, "No, if you can go now, they are looking, because they hired somebody for 2 weeks and they fired, and then blah 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 blah." And I'm like, "Oh, already that's something. Why should I go? They won't hire
Red
me. And if
flag.
they do, the
Yeah.
red flag. And if they hire me, they'll fire me as well." Because
Yeah.
I'm quite outspoken. So I finished what I was doing, and it was 3 o'clock. And I'm like, "I can't go today because I'm babysitting and blah, 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 blah." And she said, "No, when you finish, just go." So I finished around 3, went home, took a shower, changed, and went for the interview. I got there, Nancy, and I was hired on the spot. I was hired on the spot.
Love
So,
it. Oh,
yeah, I was hired on the spot. And because of the experiences that I have had with people, with the way I got the job, I've just said, you know what? It's very rare, especially nowadays, that women support women. This is a woman who I'm calling her a friend, but she wasn't even a friend. She
mm.
wasn't she wasn't even a friend. She just thought of me. And these people, you're just like, "Hi, hi, hi, hi." That's how our relationship was. And for her to think of me to go and have this interview was just amazing. So I got the job, and since then I've been working at the Embassy of Sierra Leone.
Wow, that's a long time.
Yeah, yeah, that's how I got hired. And if I didn't have that experience of going through the divorce, a very, very difficult time in my life. You can imagine being abroad with 4 kids, not employed. And
Mm.
remember, we had diplomatic status, and that was taken away from us. So we were like, we didn't have documents.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't have documents, and we found I found a place to stay, and it was a one-roomed apartment, and that's where I stayed with the 4 kids. There was only one bedroom apartment, but it was a bed sitter. It was just a bedroom and the living room with a kitchenette next to it. And
Yeah.
that's where we stayed. I stayed with my 4 kids. Since there was one bed, there was a competition in my house who sleeps on the bed. This week it's the boys, because I have 2 boys and 2 girls. This week it's the boys. This week it's the girls. This week it's the boys. This week it's the girls. So, and
Wow.
we did that, Nancy, for over 8 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're putting me through. I'm gonna let you continue, but before I slip into this, it's just I went through a horrible divorce, separation, because I'm not divorced yet, but I'm waiting to sign papers. It's just putting me into that space of my kids. And sometimes when you think about your problems, one of my friends told me, she's like, if you we all hang like on the line. We hang all of our problems. I think you'd look at other people's problems and say, you know what, I'll keep mine.
Yeah.
I'll hold on to mine.
Yeah.
Because I cannot imagine going through what you're going through with 4 kids. I have 2, and it's not to minimize my own thing or anybody's that's listening to us. It's just sometimes the issues that happen when you're outside your own country without support, and it's just you. Whew, the type of motivation you got to have for yourself.
It's a terrible experience. And you know what happens when you have, you are at the embassy. You've got embassy staff, employees who are Zambians. And when things like that are happening, guess what? It's not like they are there to help you. They are there to gossip about you and to say, oh my
Yeah,
goodness, because Zambia is so poor, she just doesn't want to go back. How can a man beat you? How can a man abuse you? And you're
mm-hmm.
still there.
Yeah,
And we come from, you know where we come from, whereby you say, they tell us, oh, your husband beats you, he loves you too much. But here
yeah,
it's like, no, 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 no.
yeah.
So with that mindset, you suffer in silence for a very, very long time before you could actually speak up. And the tears that I shed in that house, the prayers that I supplicated to God, and I just felt like
Mm.
God doesn't exist because He's not answering. How can you bring me from all the way from Zambia, bring me to Belgium, where I can't even work, where I can't even sleep? I mean, speak the language, and 4 kids, and you abandon me like this, so you feel so helpless. But guess what, Nancy? It's not your fellow Zambians that are going to take you out of the
Oh
doldrums.
yeah.
It's people you never, 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 never expected to take you out.
Mm.
And I will forever be grateful, because when I look back, sometimes I pinch myself. Is it still me? Is
Yeah.
it still me who went through that? So yeah, that with having said that, and also having a lot of friends from different countries who came and supported me, helped me and shaped me in a way that has been imprinted on my heart, and it will never go away. So when I see a woman or anybody suffering, I'm always the first one to lift my hand to say I'm willing to help, because I received help. You can imagine, when I was going through the divorce, my ex-husband, that one I don't even like talking about him, because
You're helping
he
somebody right now. Don't worry. You're
yes,
helping
exactly,
somebody.
right.
Yeah, you're helping
You,
somebody.
the schools, the children were in international schools. The government was paying for them. He went cancelled and told the school that the children, the government has stopped. He lied to them, to the school, and told the school that the children, the government has stopped paying fees for the children. So guess what? The children were expelled from school.
Hey,
So
hey.
I was just me without a job and children who were expelled. So I started looking for schools for them in the French system. But my first daughter was in grade 6. Yeah, she had a year to finish primary school. And
Mm.
my son had 2 years. And the French government said, yes, we can take them in, but they have to repeat 3 years back, because they need to learn the language.
Oh, French.
Yeah,
Oh
because
wow.
they needed to learn the language. And I'm like, no, 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 they can't repeat. Please, God, please let not these kids repeat. When they will finish school, when they are 20 something, please, God,
Yeah.
don't let them repeat. So we were at church, and a friend of mine just comes to me and she's like, Regina, what are you doing with the kids? And I'm like, I'm looking for school, but everywhere I go, they're telling me,
You
let
have to
them
repeat.
repeat. And so I explained everything to her, and she's like, oh, that's bad for them to repeat there when they've got 1 year, 2 years to finish school.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what, Nancy? I was at work. My friend comes, and she comes with these documents, And she tells me, Regina, you have to sign these documents. And I'm like, what? She says, just sign. Of course, I trusted her. And I signed the documents. And you know what they were? They were scholarships for my children at an international school yes. Apparently, my friend was a board of directors at that school. Yeah.
Wow. You see this
Yeah.
God.
This God's
Oh,
timing is the best. Because the
wow.
time I was saying, why have you left me alone? Why have you done this? Why have you done this? He knew it wasn't the time for me to have these blessings. So that's how my children went to Antwerp International School. And in that school, they were the only two Black kids because this is a school of, Antwerp. Antwerp is a diamond center in the world. It's the biggest diamond center in the world. So every kid that went there to that school was a child of the diamond Indian, the blah, blah, the Jews,
Wow.
American rich kids.
Yes. Wow.
Those kids who are given like 1,000 euros for lunch,
Yep.
that kind of yes, yes, yes. Those were the kids. So, and my kids were the only two Black kids in the whole school.
Wow. I can't imagine the stories when they got home.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So they went to that school and finished school, and then they came to the US.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oof.
So with that background, that's the background that I have, that when I see a woman, a child, a son, I don't care so much about husband, sorry, but I don't, but anybody who's suffering, I'll be the first one to help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, a lot of the times when we go through the hard times, it's when we get to meet ourselves. At least for me, I can attest that I've been able to meet myself because when we're in a relationship, whether it's marriage or just with a partner, and it goes away, that relationship goes away. A lot of the times when we're in that relationship, we lose ourselves,
Oh,
not to
yes.
someone's to the partner's fault, which I've said here before. It's just we immerse ourselves in that relationship so much that you don't even realize that you've lost a lot of you into that relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And getting that back, it takes so much work
It does.
and introspective. That is like, you don't, some people, that's why they don't even do it. They end up doing other things. You end up drinking, you end up, because it's so hard to face yourself and tell yourself the truth.
Yeah, it
And it's
is.
like,
It is.
it's
And
really
then you
hard.
have this problem of asking yourself, am I worth it? Can I do this?
Yeah,
Can I do that? What did
yeah,
I contribute to be abused? What could I have changed? So you have not even a year, years of you beating up yourself. I wish I had done it. I could have done it. I could have, but trust me, it's not a fault of yours.
yeah, could have done it.
Yeah,
Could have changed this.
yeah.
Yes, there's importance in taking your own part, but
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
don't do it to the point where you are, it's like detrimental to you.
Yeah,
There's only
exactly,
so much
exactly.
you could do as a human being, as a partner, and the other person also has to take responsibility.
Ability, exactly, exactly. And what usually happens is that because us women, we are the carers, we are the caretakers, we are the makers of the homes, and there's so much pressure on us
Yeah.
when things like this are happening. If you talk to friends, especially on the I'll speak about Zambia because that's my country. It's like, what did you do? What did
Yes.
you do? They are not
Yeah.
asking, what did he do? They are
Yeah.
asking, what did you do? And most of the time, it's not what I did. It's everything that is in the book that I did. You know how they teach us in Zambia before you get married. We go through a proper training, proper training
I have no
to
idea about that book. I'm telling you, I have a whole different thing.
Yes,
If you ask me, even outside here, like afterwards, we can speak. I'm
yeah,
so against our culture on how
exactly,
and
exactly.
like I'm sorry, guys, those people that do believe in our culture and how they prep us to get married, and then they don't do anything for the man. It doesn't work for the
Work at
marriage.
all.
It
It
does not work
doesn't.
for the marriage because
Yeah,
it's like almost the woman has to submit
bear
and the other
everything.
person does not submit. Then everything is just catered to the man. Yeah,
Yeah, and I think now, if we look at it now, when the world has evolved, especially that people are getting intermarriages from abroad and so on and so forth.
yes, yes.
Yeah, things are changing, but the locally, the Zambians getting married to Zambians, they're really suffering, and it's very unfortunate that now they have gone on a spree of killing each other. You
Fish.
know, yes, because
Terrible.
the teachings, those outdated teachings, and I know you and I, Nancy, will get a backlash from our fellow country people to say, why are you talking about this? But it's outdated traditions that are putting our children at risk.
Yeah.
Because when I was getting married, there was whatever he does to you, it's okay. He's showing love. He beats you, he pokes out your eye, it's okay. He breaks
Hmm.
your leg, it's okay. He sleeps out, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. You
Yeah.
know, and now I say I can marry off my kids or my nieces or my nephew, especially my nieces, to any man with those kind of
Characteristics.
traditions,
Yeah.
yeah, with those traditions that are really, really meant for a man and not helping a woman at all.
Yeah. And listen, I have one of each. I have a boy and a girl. And I'm just like, my son would not be contributing to this whole thing
No.
because I just cannot see it. I cannot see it. I grew up around it, even though getting married, I didn't really have a blueprint. But with my dad's marriage, which I saw with my stepmother, I was not for it. I was just like, this
Mhm.
is abuse to a whole
Mhm.
different level. I didn't even understand it as abuse. My spirit could not be around it. I even stopped visiting him
Yeah.
because of what I was seeing and what my stepmother was going through.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
the next day, she was a teacher. These are professionals. My dad
Yeah.
worked for cooperative. My stepmother was a teacher.
Mhm.
And the next day, she'll wake up, go to school like nothing happened. I'm just,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
I couldn't. The young person in me, I couldn't. To today, I don't think that that little person.
Yeah, it's the same here. Like I'm glad you brought that up. Yesterday, my mom died 2 years ago. I've got
I'm sorry.
a, a, s- a stepmom. Okay, not a stepmom. My dad's wife.
Yeah.
Because yeah. And my little sisters, they encourage her and talk to her, but I can't. I just can't. Because I know what my mom went through, and some of these women are the causes of uh my mom's illness leading up to her death. So whatever was happening those years ago is actually happening to her now.
Right.
And yes, my sister was telling me, and we called dad and we put him on the phone and we started telling him, and he's as adamant as ever. He didn't do anything wrong. And even saying she doesn't listen. And I'm like,
This is your
Dad,
child.
yeah,
Like people
yeah,
behave like this is your
yeah.
child.
Yeah. So, and you have a
Uh,
wife, and you want to treat her like it's those colonial days. But not that we are despising our culture, but they have to be something that has to change. Globally,
I
respect is
agree.
paramount.
Yeah.
Respect is paramount. Is the woman you are hitting or abusing a human being? Yes, she is. Are you a human being? Yes, you are. You know, my marriage ended when I reciprocated, when I hit back, and he
Mm-hmm.
couldn't believe that it was me who actually hit him. And he made it a whole big deal. Oh, she did this, she beat me, she threw this at me, she threw this. But I'm like, you have
Mm-hmm.
been throwing things at me for 17 years. So how do you think I've been feeling? And
Well, that's usually what happens because it's
yeah,
the
yeah,
same. Like I would put it in the form of a bully. Like a lot of times
yes,
when bullies are bullying someone, I one day that someone that you are bullying is gonna turn around and beat you because there's
yes,
everybody has a threshold.
yes, yes,
So once
yes.
that is maxed, that's it.
That's
You
it.
you're done.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. So, and he went ahead and did all those things. Told everybody we left in Zambia. Oh, she did this. She hit me with keys. She threw a shoe at me, and I'm like, wow. And then one of my friends said to me, Regina, you know what? Had you done this the first time he started, honestly, you would still be married because he would have stopped. But
Yeah.
you know, when you tell your relatives or your parents, they're just like, no, that's how men behave and blah 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 blah. So yeah, so this is where we are, Nancy.
Mm. Listen, I hope there's a change because there's so many stories that I can even bring up from Facebook. There's a community apparently of Zambians that are back home that are going through so much abuse. It's insane. Like the details of that, I couldn't even join it. It is shared with one of my girls that I call my sister. She was reading through that. I'm like, my heart is not gonna take that. That's the part. That's why I avoided joining the group because
Mhm,
I couldn't take some of the abuse that is in there that women are going through. So I'm so grateful that you are advocating for women and you continue because when women are affected, the children are affected because they
mhm.
watch what's happening in the house.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
like, yes, the examples that we're giving, your children were watching what was happening.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
And I was watching when my father used to abuse his I was watching. And I personally just I'm like, I don't live here, so I don't have to show up here. Because I just
Yeah.
used to go visit. But some
Mhm.
children do not even have that choice. They have
No,
to go
no.
through that abuse and it traumatizes a lot of families from the parent to the child. And it's sad that this continues to happen. And it says it's culture, and we have to continue to do it. And somebody gets married, and yeah,
Yeah,
we're gonna be on this topic forever because I'm so passionate about it. Like literally, I'm really passionate about
yeah.
it.
Yeah. But you know, women are waking up. There are some of us who left with our lives still intact, and there are
Oh,
some
thank
that
God.
are 6 feet under, and the children are suffering. And these men who do this, they are not even capable of looking after the children on their own, you
No,
know.
no.
They are not capable of doing that. And this is why, as women, we need to speak up. As women, we need to hold each other's hand. As women, we need to fix each other's crowns. As women, we need to have one voice. The future is now, whereby we
Hmm.
don't have to say, oh, that's our problem. That's our problem. It's everybody's problem. If one woman is abused, it's everyone's problem because it's we are all mothers. And imagine us women who have our daughters. Would we want our daughters to go through things like that? Um,
Exactly.
yeah, my work with the African Women's League here in Belgium when I was president in 2014 to 2019, just before COVID, is
Hmm.
like the story is the same. The African Women's League has got had about 25, 30 countries who are
Wow.
members of the organization, and every story was the same. Zambian, Congolese, Rwanda, Burundi, Nigeria, all of us, we were all speaking the same voice about abuse, and the fact that there are some You know, Zambia, Nancy, is not the real Africa. The real Africa is the Western Africa. They've got these traditions such that when you're married to their son or whatever, you're Nigerian, you have to be cooking for your mothers-in-law. And you know, they live like in a community, maybe the house of the husband and wife is here, the parents-in-law, them, you know, it's really, really, really tricky. But in as much as they do that, they are human beings. They don't know, some of them do not even know what peace is, because the guy just feels he's a king, you know, and he is not accountable for all his abuse, the insults, and the not taking care of children. And in the same vein, there are some who are really married to good men. We can't put all of the eggs in one basket.
Of course.
Yeah. So, but with those, the underprivileged, we thank you for creating a platform where we all as women can come to and speak about it. And this is what the African Women's League was all about.
Oh, wow. Yeah, no, I was actually going to ask you about the African League. That's the Union das Femmes?
Yeah,
Femmes?
Union des Femmes Africaines. Yes. So it's African Women's League in English. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Oh, wow. How long how long has that been existing?
They started in 1998, and I was only president in 2024. 2024, 2014. Yes, 2014 to 2019. So with that, you know, the creation of that organization was for African immigrants who came here, so that you help them where to go to get your papers, where to start from, which lawyers, here we call them prodio. In English, it's what? Legal aid,
Oh, the legal aid. Gotcha.
yes. The legal aid lawyers, so that they advise you how to proceed if you would need to have papers, because you don't have papers, you know how it is. You don't
Yeah.
have papers, you can't do anything. So the association or the organization was meant for that, to every African woman who came to Belgium, they had a place that could help them go around and obtain their documents, and show them offices where they should go and submit their applications.
Oh, no, it's always great to have people who can, you know, guide you, mentor you in a foreign country. It's something that I do here in the US in New York. It- You'll be lost. You'll be lost. It's very
Yeah.
hard, especially in a country like yours where French, I'm sure a lot of things are written in French,
Yeah.
and if you're not from a French country,
Yeah,
you'll be
lost.
completely lost. So it's great to have those type of organizations. Is it still around or no?
Yeah, it's still around. The organization is still around. You know, when COVID happened, of course, it was quiet.
Yeah.
And my term came to an end in 2019. And there's a Rwandese president now. There was one before from Congo, but now the president is from Rwanda. And yeah, it's still there. The organization is still there.
Gotcha. You're also part of our leadership on our SAZA, Zambian
In South
organization.
Africa.
Yes. You're also part of
Yes.
that. What is your
Yes.
contribution? What do you do in that space?
So in that space, you know, what had happened was each country has got like an organization or an association of Zambians. There's ZASA for South Africa, United Zambians in Belgium, Swedish and the Swedish, the Germans, Zambians in Germany, you know,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. So what used to happen was there would be information coming from Zambia concerning, for instance, passports, renewal of
Passport.
passports,
Yeah.
birth certificates. You know the problems with
Yeah.
our
Community.
government back home, and they would send the information maybe to ZASA alone. and not send it to Belgium and not send it to the United Kingdom, not
Oh,
send it
wow.
anywhere. So we would get the information when the thing has come and passed, and we are late to submit any documents. So me being me, I became very upset and went to the embassy and told them it's not right, blah, 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 blah. So that week I went to the embassy. Apparently, I was even traveling to go to Zambia. So I said, no, I'm going to bring Ministry of Foreign Affairs down in Zambia to see what they can do. So I went to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, lodged in my complaint. I'm like, you know what? Zambians in Europe are the same Zambians in the UK, in the US, in China, everywhere. So when you send information only to one part and the rest are left out, it means so many things won't happen for Zambians, because most Zambians have got children abroad and you want to obtain a passport. Zambia is not like the US. When a child is born there, then they have a passport. No, us, we have to go back to Zambia to get the passports. So I asked them, would it be okay if I created an organization that covers all the associations of Zambia and put it under one umbrella?
Mm.
Yeah, so the lady responsible for the diaspora, she said, oh, that is a good idea, blah, 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 blah. So that's how I came back and then started looking for associations. Then somebody recommended ZASA for me and said, oh, you get in touch with Ferdinand. And then Ferdinand and I started talking, and then we just started throwing in associations. And this is where we are now. So that's how Zambia Diaspora Organization started.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing, because when I spoke to him, and he had recommended for me to talk to you as well.
Okay.
Because I was like, I mean, you guys have a board of directors. How many do
Yes.
you have? So I was like, I'd like to speak to your board of directors and stuff. So it's like, oh, I'll connect you with Miss Regina. She's phenomenal. She's been around. And I didn't even realize, I thought you were in SA, but
Oh,
I was
okay.
like, oh wait, she's in Belgium.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
So that's
No,
how it started. Yeah.
I love how your community is, actually, because it's very you guys are very involved. It's very active. You have events every now
Mm-hmm.
and then, but these events are very let me see, educational,
Yeah.
and they contribute to the community, instead of just having a meeting just to have a meeting.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What are some of the challenges you guys are facing in terms of the organization for the Zambians itself, or overall just other organizations as well?
Bureaucracy.
Mm.
There are things that we do and organize, and we send them back to Zambia, and they are non-responsive. And when they are non-responsive, it's just so discouraging to go out and look for all these opportunities that the government is asking the diaspora to bring on board. I am the Secretary General of the Zambia Diaspora Organization, based in Belgium. Ferdinand is the president of the Zambia Diaspora Organization, based in South Africa.
Yeah.
Kalinde Mpande, based in the UK. Sean, based in, I think, Manchester or somewhere there. We have Chota in Germany. We have Noah in Austria. We have Australia. We have New Zealand. And of course, in the US, we have people.
Yes.
So when they ask us to do something, and then we have these embassies, you take the information and they're like, they are lost. So it really, really frustrates us to the point whereby we say, why have you called the diaspora the 11th province when we are not even able to come on board to accept what we are bringing on board? So that's the frustration. But on our own, when when we do things without the government, we achieve a lot, but then they get upset and we're like, well, choose your battles.
No, I mean, you recently guys were, it was last year, which I was supposed to be part of the event.
The sports.
Yes, that was so phenomenal. I was watching and I shared, I tried to market it as well
Yeah,
because Mrs. Manya was sending all of the marketing. I mean, it looked amazing. It looked
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, it was really, really amazing. It was the first ever big event that we hosted. We had about 1,700 participants.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was huge. We
I
were
mean, you
supported
had the
by local
gala.
companies. Yes, yes, we had the gala night, we had the cultural nights, and we had, of course, the president was supposed to officiate. Unfortunately, the meeting he was attending in South Africa didn't end on
Yeah.
time. He was supposed to fly in, but we had the Minister of Sports and other ministers, education and higher learning, and we had a lot of diplomats as well. So up to now, we are like, we did it, we did it.
Is anything happening this year?
We are working on something, but I don't think we'll hold something this year because of the way things are moving.
Mm.
We might postpone it to next year, but we are still in talks with the Ministry of Sports. Because they are the main players, you know, and there are so many activities. There's an Olympics coming up in Paris. There are so many activities where I don't think we'll be able to make it, but we haven't really decided whether it's a yes or no.
Got you.
Yeah.
How do you envision the future of your initiatives and the impact that you have for the vulnerable communities in Zambia and also in Africa? Because you are involved in a lot of communities in Africa. How do you envision?
Yeah. What I see, the thing about the charity work is when people see that you're passionate about what you're doing, they
Mm.
are able to learn from you, and copy that. When I was president of the African Women's League, the Union des Femmes Africaines, we went to Cameroon, and they think I need to go there every year, but I can't. I can't, because when we went there, we participated in the International Women's Day.
Oh, wow.
And it was a huge thing. We had gone to different villages, and those villages, West Africa's got nothing on Zambia. I mean, Zambia's got nothing on West Africa because they go out big time. They do things in a very, very different way. We went to Cameroon, and we were quite well received. We found that the village people were lined up on the street, and I was
Oh
asking,
my goodness.
who are these people? And they're like, they're receiving you, Regina. You are the president. I'm like, oh, okay.
Wow.
Yes. So the chiefs came out, the women organizations came out, and everybody had a story. There's a Widow Association of Cameroon, Abused Children Association of
Mm.
everything. You name all the associations, they were there at the time we went there. And with that, I would say I've stayed in touch with those people because they really want to see how we are doing things in different parts of Africa.
Mm.
And the thing is, once you put your foot down in one country, trust me, they never forget you. They always remember your words. They always remember that your story is, like you said, somebody's learning, somebody's listening.
Yeah.
It's not what you take to them, but it's what you say, and show proof of what you have said, that I am a living testimony. Here
Yeah.
I am. and you see you can learn something from me. So the future, I think the future is female. Women are not the same that were there, the mindset 5 years ago.
Yeah.
The mindset has changed. Each one of us has got a story to give, and each one is learning from a story from another person. So as long as we keep on sharing these stories, the future is female, and we will stop all these kind of abuses that are going around. So that's what I think. So not only in Cameroon, I was last year in Ghana, and we had a similar trip, and it was nice, and we are still in touch with those people. Never
What
lose
are those
contact with
trips
those
like?
people.
Like, what are those trips like? Let's say, just paint us a picture for us. So when you go to Ghana, for instance, what's the day look like, the event?
Yeah, so when we go to Ghana, we have a program like, for instance, we'll start with, there are so many traditions in Ghana. So when you arrive, you have to go to the chief to say you have arrived. So you take
Oh, wow.
gifts you take gifts to the chief, and he blesses you and blah, 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 blah. He knows that you are in the country. Then what we did when we were in Ghana, we lined up schools.
Mm.
We lined up hospitals, and we lined up just some tourist spots. So when we went to the schools, this was a core education schools, but we focused, um, see, we focused on the girls, because the girls we said, let's buy some menstrual um, um,
Products.
kits, yes,
Mm-hmm.
products. So we bought a lot of pads and a lot of used clothes. We were about six of us,
Mm.
so we took like a lot of pads, a lot of used clothes, and we donated to them,
Oh,
to
wow.
the to the kids in those schools. And after that, of course, we went to the chief. We introduced ourselves. He blessed us, and the village. Some headman took us around in the village to introduce us to people, and we just explain what we are there for. We tell them, we show them what we are there for. We show them the things that we have brought, and they tell us their needs, and if we can help, we do that. We went to a school, primary school, where there were a lot of kids who didn't have uniforms. The desks were not enough for the kids. The same issues, just like Zambia, you
Yeah.
know. Yeah, and we helped. We took some school stuff like pens, books, balls, colors, all things for the schools that we could manage to take in our small suitcases. We took that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. No, the, it's amazing what could be done, because people wait for other people to do things, but your organization is contributing in such a big way that you don't even know the lives that you are impacting. Yes, they
Mhm.
introduce you, but it gives you so much life when you see the people in the villages, and then get to appreciate life.
Oh yeah.
You
Oh
you
yeah.
you,
And
you
they
really
do
do.
appreciate what you give them, no matter how small it is, because in
Mm,
the village, people are vulnerable. People need help. And
mm.
I think, even in as much as I have seen Cameroon and Ghana, and then talking about our own in Zambia,
Yeah,
we've most of these villages, they are like forgotten.
yeah.
I don't know how many times government officials pass there. They could have an MP, a member of parliament,
Only during
or
campaigns.
that's it.
Yeah,
That's it. That's it. That's it. After the campaign, they win the elections,
that's it.
done and dusted. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So they need everything. They appreciate everything that you give them.
Wow. No,
Yeah.
this is really amazing. How can people contribute? What can people do to help out with the organization?
There are so many ways people can help out. I'm sure with you, Nancy, and me here living in the Western world, we've noticed that people throw a lot of things that can be useful to our communities back home.
Yep.
And but the problem we have is how do we take those things back home? Who will pay for the
Transportation.
transportation?
That's the most
Um,
expensive.
that's the most expensive thing that we can do. Um, I prefer that people give things in terms of material. Like for instance, we have this brings me to the Zambia Schools First, where I'm a director on the board. What we do is we gather some stuff from here, or we get contributions. We go, maybe people contributed not a lot, maybe even €1,000
Yeah.
or 2,000. Whoever gives you €20 here or $20 for us, it goes a long way. So what we do is when we get that money, then we travel back to Zambia, for instance. Like the school in Zambia we are working on with the Zambia Schools First, we have built toilets. Guess what? They were having pit latrines
Hey,
in these modern times. So we have
2024.
built the toilets. We have painted the school. We have bought desks. We have bought school material. And we have also put the sinks outside for the kids to drink water from and wash their hands after they're using the toilet. We dug out the septic tank that was right in the middle of the playground, whereby it was so dangerous. And if a child falls and hits her head or his head on that, it's you don't even want to imagine. So we take anything that anybody can provide, whether it's in material form or in monetary terms. They can always contact me or my other colleague who I work with, and we'll be happy to show the pictures once that is done. Whatever contribution has been given, we always make sure that people see the pictures of the work they have done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's amazing. The work you are doing, yeah, it's amazing and it's needed. There's so many people who don't have, and the little that you are able to do, for them, it's not even little. It's just a lot because you're traveling from Belgium to Zambia or whichever country, and that's enough already. And then having to give them whatever is being given to them, it means 1,000 times more for them. Yeah.
Yeah.
But how do you balance all of this? You're a mom, you're part of so many organizations, and
Yeah,
then
I
you
think I'm
have
a
your own
crazy
job that
person.
you have to report to. How do you balance it all? How do you balance it all?
I think what balancing uh is an understatement. The thing is the passion.
Mm,
All of us are busy. All of us. I work in the embassy, as you know, and my job is quite demanding. At the moment, I'm working on the president coming, the delegation of the president, the presidential delegation, the this, connecting all these things, and it's quite taxing. Then I come home and well, my children are big. The one you saw coming, I don't know whether you saw her,
yeah.
is actually my granddaughter. So
Oh,
yes,
nice.
that's my granddaughter. My kids are old, but when they were young, it was doing something that you like. And you know what? You can balance it. Really, really, you can balance it if you have the passion of helping. Um, because I have received a lot of help from outsiders. Honestly, I create time
Yeah.
to do what I do. I create time. Some people ask me, Regina, you're always traveling. We see you here and there. Where do you get the time? Do you work? Yes, I'm in a full-time employment from 9 to 5. From 9 to 5, but I always have Zoom meetings after work for all these things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so when you want to do something, honestly, you can create time. If you have the passion, you will create time. No one person in this world is free or has a lot of time on their hands. No,
Yeah.
no. You just have to create time for things that you love. And especially for me, that I keep on emphasizing on how much help I received from total strangers, Nancy, total strangers. That will always make me create time for others.
It humbles you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does.
I, I can definitely relate to that because so many people come for, for for you that you never even expected to
No,
show up for you.
no.
It really humbles you, and I can relate to that, and I'm
Yeah.
sure so many people outside in the diaspora, they can relate to that. There's so many
Hmm.
you never know who shows up. And a
No,
lot of times I even say, please be kind because you never know what somebody is going through. You could see someone
exactly.
smiling, they are dying inside.
Inside, yeah.
So just showing that kindness, maybe smiling or whatever, that you're helping them,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
helping them.
Yeah, and you know, sometimes help doesn't usually come in material or
Yeah.
monetary terms. It's
Mm-hmm.
just having someone to talk to.
Yeah.
People are quite lonely here in this part of the world, and that's why when you asked me about Zambia will always be me. Some people, when I'm talking to them or I'm making a comment on Facebook on one of the the forums, they say, oh, you still speak the local language. No, I can't forget my local language. I can't because I'm always in touch with what is happening on the ground. In reality, I am still Zambian. I go to the hospital and they ask me, do you have insurance? And I'm like, yes, of course. A foreign insurance. And I'm like, no, I'm Belgian. Oh, then they'll be like, oh, okay. So you see, they're looking at me and they're saying in their minds, she's not even one of us, you
Uh-huh.
know? Yeah. So when I say I'm Belgian, they're like, okay, whatever. But, you know,
Yeah.
so
No, I
home
believe.
is home.
Yeah, home is home. Home is home.
Yeah. Hmm.
But you've been away so long. It's you can't say you're still truly connected because
I am.
it's been so long. 1996.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. 28 years, I think. Yeah.
Whew,
Yeah.
that's a long time.
Yeah. It's been too long. It's been too long. I am 120% Zambian. Uh 120% Zambian. And there's no rest. I'm Zambian. I live abroad. I'm a Zambian living abroad with a Belgian passport.
So for
Uh,
all of these amazing things we've gone through life, life has done its own thing, and your kids are grown, and you're doing all these amazing things in our community. Do you feel you are fulfilled at this point?
in life, you shouldn't feel fulfilled. Otherwise, you lose the plot. Because
Mm,
because there's always something to be done and something to do. I've told you the struggles I had with my kids. My
yeah.
kids have also created their own story. You saw my granddaughter coming here just to give me a kiss. She's also looking at me and saying, oh, what kind of grandmother am I? When the mother is at school, I mean at work, and she asks me to pick her up at school, and these young girls come to me. They run to me, and they're like, was that the grandmother Adiba? I'm like, yes. They're asking me if I'm Adiba's grandmother, and then they start telling me, the grandmother of Adiba you can't be, because all grandmothers do not wear high heels.
Oh, nice.
Grandmothers do not wear high heels. So one would give me an example. Me, my grandmother wears trainers. Me, my grandmother wears this. You know. So when you see this, you are like, these kids, they're very attentive. They are watching. And my granddaughter is watching, and it never stops. It never stops until you stop yourself.
Yeah.
So you just have to go on, and the lessons that we give or impart to others, sometimes we don't even know them ourselves.
Oh, yes.
We don't, until there are so many people who have said, oh, you remember you helped me. I don't remember. I really do not remember who I helped. And I think that's the whole point of living together in harmony. Let's help without this hand knowing that I have helped this hand. But
Yeah.
then let's be examples to one another. You don't know what I am learning from you today. I've learned a lot. You think you're learning from me, but I'm learning from you. And the moment we do that each day we have is a day that we have to take something to build ourselves and also maybe impart into others, then we'll continue living and giving to the community as long as we are healthy, and
Yeah.
as much as we can.
Oh, on that note, um, well said. I'm so grateful. I'm always a big believer on when we help others, we activate the souls that we have inside. We're human beings with our souls and spirits, and our spirit is connected to God. And when we are helping, we are just connecting back to where we came from, because we are all connected at the end of the day. So thank you for the work that you are doing. I
Thank you.
appreciate you so much for making time for us. This is such an honor. I have learned so much. It was so insightful and really, really informative. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you, Nancy. Thank you. Let's keep the fire burning. We don't know where the flame will come from, but you know what? Let's fix each other's crowns, because that's the whole purpose of life.
Yeah, I agree. I really agree. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome, and thank you for having me. We've done it, we waited for so long, but here we are.